George Mueller is one of my favorite heroes from Christian history. God did absolutely awe-inspiring things through this man of prayer and faith. George was born in the year 1805 in Germany and then moved to Bristol, England to accomplish God's work for him. He decided early on in his life and ministry that he wouldn't ask for any money or even let anyone know if he needed any money for himself or for his very large ministry, but he would only seek God in prayer for everything that he needed. And so God answered his prayer in the little things and in the very big things supernaturally. Just through prayer alone, George in his lifetime cared for 10,000 orphans and established 117 schools which gave Christian education to more than 120,000 adults and children. He received, in today's money, $180 million just through prayer. He used this money to support the many orphanages that he personally directed, to establish and sustain the Christian schools, and to fund missionaries across the world. But let's not forget that great accomplishments often come with many hardships. There were many times when George Mueller's faith was tested, and God only supplied provision and answer to prayer at the very last moment when the need was the most intense. One of these stories occurred when he didn't have any money, bread, or food to feed the orphans. He ran out, so George Mueller turned to God in prayer. Early one morning, George led the children into the long dining room, set for breakfast, but without food. He prayed in faith, "Dear Father, we thank you for what you are going to give us to eat." Just as he finished praying, there was a knock at the door. It was the baker. He couldn't sleep because he was so sure the Lord wanted him to bake bread for George Mueller. "Children, we not only have bread, we have fresh bread." Almost immediately, there was a second knock at the door. It was the milkman. The milk cart had just broken down outside the orphanage, so the milkman decided to offer the milk to the children, completing their meal in a direct answer to prayer. George Mueller's life is an inspiration to us. We can fully rely on God because He is faithful to us, and we can fully rely on Him. He not only believed it, but he lived it in a life of powerful prayer. So I'll end with George Mueller's own words on prayer. "I live in the spirit of prayer. I pray as I walk about, as I lie down, and as I rise up. Always the answers are coming. Thousands and even 10,000s of times my prayers have been answered. When once I perceive that a thing is right and will glorify God, I go on praying for it until the answer comes."